So part 2 of our story of 2008, when OYT were being the most successful they'd ever been, winning this with this play, Graham, World's Fastest Blind Runner, at the All England Theatre Festival, and representing our region in the English finals. We'd never been more flavour of the month in England. And it was just hard work that was doing. But underneath that, there was something happening. Bubbles were happening. Storm was brewing. Oasis had been given the right to take over our beloved Oaklands school, community school, and things were changing. And we had been told that the powers that be at Oasis didn't really want, or didn't understand the value of Oasis Youth Theatre. So ex-members of OYT wrote in and set up a campaign, which I sent to the big bods at Oasis to try and rescue it. And I was just reading through some of the things they said, and here's some more. I hope I'll get to the end of them this time. This is someone who was very keen in youth theatre but didn't want his name broadcast. So, I started OYT when I was in year 9. At this point in my life I was not doing that well, academically and out of school. In school I hung around with the wrong people. I constantly found myself in trouble either with other students or with teachers. My predicted grades for SATs were extremely low. The kids I hung around with were not nice people. 2 of them are now in prison. I found myself in trouble. OYT was the key to my social development. I have had some of the best friends and my best memories out of OYT. OYT needs children just as much as children need OYT. Please don't take this beautiful opportunity away from future children in Lord's Hill. Please listen and read these and understand how we feel. Powerful stuff. I mean, if you want to be felt reaffirmed by what people are saying, these were the things. So it was wonderful for me in a time of great threat when I just felt, why can't people see what is going on here? This one is one I love. It's by Samantha. And she just, it gave me a raison d'etre, I guess. I was fortunate enough to be at a school that had a youth theatre that welcomed everyone. Youth theatre actually allowed us to devise and produce our own work, rather than putting on existing scripted shows, these made us feel valued and gave us all a huge sense of self-work. It was a team-building activity that taught us to value everyone's input. It's great to know that people understood what all this was about. I mean, this was exactly what it was about. Drama festivals were important to me as they allowed us to show our work to a wider audience. Great, but that's what the value of these festivals are. And if you get a chance to be involved in them, please do. Opening our productions up for review taught us to value constructive criticism and respect other people's opinions. We were also able to see the kind of work other groups were producing and could take away their ideas and inspiration to enrich our own productions. Also, it didn't hurt to win a few awards, which eventually we did. Actually, we always did win a few awards, but the bigger awards came in these later years, and become ambassadors for our school. There was a pride in it. I mean, I'm not a believer in school uniform, but I love the fact that this non-imposed pride really was working. So this is something people would choose to wear an OYT shirt because they wanted to, because they were ambassadors for the school. Festivals opened us up to a world outside of Lord's Hill, our area in Southampton, and was key in my ability as an adult to feel comfortable in a strange place or situation. Without OYT, I would never have discovered and performed at the National Student Drama Festival, which was instrumental in getting me a job in a theatre in London. The contacts they made at the NSDF helped Sam move on. OYT gave me a purpose, goals, inspiration and motivation. Very rarely did I get much positive support from my parents, but the sense of community from my friends at OYT and the driving force of Mark encouraged me to stay on the right route. I cannot stress enough how big an influence OYT was in shaping my life as a teenager through to adulthood. If it saved me from the clutches of poverty, council estates, teenage pregnancy and a grim future, I'm sure it can save others too. The next one is from Carly, who actually she will come into the next bit of this story and progressively right to the very final days of OYT. Carly was in youth theatre when she was much younger. I can remember auditioning her and not choosing her for a production that she really, really wanted to be in about her friend Sedge, Sarah Stanbury. But she got over it, and this is what she wrote. I cannot say enough about how OYT helped me through my teen years and in so many ways influenced the person I have become today, nearly 15 years later. I was aware of OYT before I started Oaklands, and the drama facilities at the school were one of the main reasons I wanted to go there. I'm dyslexic, and being good at drama gave me a lot more confidence in the other subjects, and the reason I was good at drama is because of everything I learned in OYT. And I always said that OYT was a way I would use to cascade skills within the classroom. It definitely did that. Those members were in the classes and they gave their skills to everybody else. So it wasn't just working with the youth theatre group. Touring and travelling with OYT taught me a lot about responsibilities and gave me fantastic friends, some of which I still have today, and I'd count myself as one of them. When I was in year 10 at Oaklands, I had my careers meeting with the careers advisor. I told her I wanted to work in television as a researcher. I was very quickly told that people like me don't do jobs like that, and maybe I should consider childcare as a career. Through the youth theatre, I had been lucky enough to meet a lot of people who had interesting jobs in the world of media and theatre, and the one thing I had realised is that they were just normal people who had a passion for something they turned into their job. I did go on to become a television researcher, then a producer, a career that led me to travel a lot and meeting some amazing people. This idea of putting a ceiling on people's achievements is something that Oasis were very much believing in, and yet they didn't get what the youth theatre was doing. This is someone else. This is Chris Borden, who became a head teacher. My involvement in Oaklands Youth Theatre provided me with some of the most memorable experiences of my life. Experiences that have defined much of my own thinking about drama and education, and which certainly set me onto the path where I am today. Looking back now as an assistant head teacher, which he was then, I realised that my passion for education and for teaching drama was sparked some 20 years ago in that first OYT audition. I'd never anticipated the rich life experiences that would accompany this. Visiting Graham Salmon at his home and spending time with such a truly inspirational man is an experience I treasure to this day, and that I often find myself sharing with students in lessons and assemblies, and I know Chris still does that as a head teacher. My involvement in OYT over the ensuing 5 years opened up a whole new world to me. What strikes me now is the sheer breadth of real theatrical experience this provided for me. Being on the writing team for Hard to Swallow, visiting the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, performing at the National Theatre, designing posters, thank you Chris, they were wonderful even though you never thought they were, touring Houston in Texas, performing the live improv shows, writing and directing my own piece and taking it to the local amateur drama festival. I loved my time at Oaklands. It inspired me to want to be a teacher, and a huge part of this was down to the powerful sense of engagement and pride I felt at being part of OYT. And then one of the parents, Andrew Matak, wrote, I find it hard to believe that OYT is not plans for the new Oasis school. To omit OYT from the new development would be detrimental to the local community. I would ask those who are making such decisions seriously to reconsider them. Do not bring the curtain down on a group that positively helps our youngsters grow into valued members of our society. And thanks to all those people, by the time I announced the production that was going to be called GRIN and FIN, I was able to call it GRIN and CONTIN, because at the bottom of the opening of the introduction to it, I said, "Good news, all your words, I collected 8,000 of them from you, saw a reversal from Oasis today, and they now view OYT as an important part of their future, though they don't know what the youth theatre will be called. Thanks for your support on that. Much appreciated." And as I said in the last little broadcast, underlying this is a sense of sadness that, in fact, for the long story, we didn't win. But for the short term, for the next 10 years, we we were good, and in fact it led to some of the most productive and amazing years that the youth theatre had ever achieved, and would ever achieve. And bearing that in mind, why was it allowed to disappear at the end of that? Just unbelievable. And this is from those things called academies that everybody says was the saving of our education system. What we did, we used to do every now and then to raise money, we did things called GRIN and tonics, and the GRIN was doing little comedy scenes that people would perform in different groups directed by students, and then an interval. Often we'd eat strawberries in the interval because it would be in the summer. And then in the second part, we would do spontaneous improvisation where, with audience suggestions, we would get kids up on stage and do improvisations. And they loved it. The audience loved it. We loved it. It was a very, very popular thing. So what better way to finish OYT than to do a GRIN and FIN? But by the time it came to be reviewed, it was called GRIN and CONTIN. And the first part, we decided we'd do as a tribute to all the years of what we'd done. And this was the review. I'm going to read the whole thing. It's not a long review, it's a short review. But this is the whole review from the local newspaper, which showed our relationship with our community as well. OYT have every justification for nostalgia. In its 25 years of drama productions, theatre shows have been everything they should be. This reunion, very much as a celebration for current and past members of the group, fully justified the pride and sense of achievement with the fascinating glimpse it provided into the range, ambition and quality of the shows over the years. The audience was moved, amused and entertained, and had its linguistic ability tested by an extract from a bilingual play. Channel of Love again. OYT fosters a sense of professionalism, confidence and versatility in its players, qualities constantly apparent in its productions, but illustrated further with the improvisation games of the second half of the bill. After this night celebrating the past and present, it's encouraging to know that OYT will grin and contin. And it also gave us the idea for a very early Oasis Youth Theatre production, which was to do little segments of Wheellerplays and put them on a DVD, and that became Wheellerplays Exemplified, and that will be the subject of one of the next little broadcasts, but not the very next, because we developed a show in a very few weeks, and that was called Granny and the Wolf, which was commissioned by EdXL.